Now that the Nintendo Direct of June has passed, now that the release calendar is established, now that Nintendo has teased MEO and freaked us all out, I think it's time to discuss the gigante elefante in the room, which is what is the plan for Nintendo Switch 2? We were kind of whisked away into a world where Switch 1 is all that matters, with an awesome lineup of new games dropped at the latest Direct, the console existing for the longest of any Nintendo system ever before it, and a lot of good vibes as Nintendo is bringing Zelda and Mario for the holiday season. But what about that pesky Switch 2 that initially was thought to release in 2024? What's the plan? How is it going to go down? And what comes next for Nintendo? Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. Obviously, Nintendo Switch 2 is a big unknown. Nintendo has not formally announced anything beyond the fact that they will be revealing the new Nintendo Switch console in the current fiscal year. So that means any time between today and the end of March 2025. Those are the 100% concrete facts, not a release, but a reveal before the end of the fiscal year. Yet many have predicted and looked ahead to see what Nintendo will actually do, and I've got my own take on how this is going to go down and how Nintendo will reveal to you and I the next system, when it will be available, when we'll find out the games, and when we'll finally be playing it. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. Let's get down into it, because Nintendo Switch 2, where is it? We thought maybe it would be revealed earlier this March. That was initially sort of the timetable that was being discussed. Nate Drake had these birds, people were really bringing up rumors, and there was a lot to do about Switch 2 being shown off in Q1 of 2024 for a potential Q4 release in 2024. Well, that passed, and Brazil said the system has been delayed. Many other sources corroborated this information, and they say, hey, the system's delayed because Nintendo wants to lock down their software and make sure that the launch is as strong as possible. We know that Furukawa has commented countless times on how transition is everything, and they want to make sure that they nail this. Then the thought was we would get a summer reveal of the system around the typical E3 time, Summer Games Fest. Hey, we would see Nintendo tease their new Switch system, even if it was just like a logo, a name, a small little like vibey video. They did nothing of the sort. Instead, they really cemented and established that this year for Nintendo Switch ain't gonna be a slow one. They dropped Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Mario and Luigi Brothership, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, and a few other titles, letting us know that, hey, there is still plenty to play on your Switch. And they did not make a peep at any of their investors' call with any additional details or any additional information about what they have in the works for Nintendo Switch 2. That leaves us in quite the lurch. We have these awesome games to buy and play, and we have a Metroid Prime 4 teaser for sometime in 2025, which I think looks fantastic, but that is being stated as a Switch game. And we don't know anything about when the Switch 2 will drop, how backwards compatibility will work, cross-gen will work, launch games will work, pricing will work, Joy-Con will work. We have rumors about the magnetized Joy-Con. We have rumors that backwards compatibility is going to be a thing. We know for a fact that Nintendo accounts will transition over, and therefore most likely Nintendo Switch Online in its current foundation, which is, hey, the basic tier for $20 and the expansion pack tier for $50, which I think honestly right now are great values and are working and running really well. They've upped the ante on the number of releases, the timing of the releases, the quantity, and kind of the quirkiness, which I do applaud and do appreciate. So when will Nintendo actually start dropping true details about this system? To me, there are two time frames to keep an eye on, and that would be October, and then that would be January. There is a chance that Nintendo does not use anything in 2024 to discuss Nintendo Switch 2. There is a chance that they let the lineup ride out 2024, given that it does possess Link, Mario, Zelda, and more, and then just start with the Switch 2 heavy hype in early 2025. If you recall back with the Switch 1, what they did was they did a trailer drop in October and then a big party reveal in January, followed up by a March launch. That would seem to be a great blueprint to follow once again, as it yielded extreme success for Nintendo with the launch of the Switch, Breath of the Wild, eventually Mario Odyssey, and the reveals of games like ARMS, Splatoon 2, and Snipperclips. But what will Nintendo do this time, and do they need to have a teaser out before the holiday shopping season truly kicks in? Some might argue that, hey, Nintendo absolutely will not have an October trailer this time because they still want to sell Switch 1 product. And last time in 2016, the Wii U was basically not selling at all, so Nintendo didn't have any holiday sales to worry about sacrificing. But I wonder if Nintendo doesn't think of it that way. Given the fact that their new console release for this year, which is a gold Switch Lite tied into Echoes of Wisdom, is launching in September alongside the Zelda game, they might plan to sell many of their Switch consoles before the holiday season. And many people, despite not having an official confirmation, do know that a new Switch is coming. They do know that it's probably coming early next year, and they might already be sitting out the Switch 1 purchasing window to say, hey, let's wait and see what Nintendo does. In a weird way, announcing a Switch 2 in October and giving people the timing and potentially even the pricing details, although the latter is probably more unlikely, might provide more of an incentive for certain shoppers to buy a Switch 1. Like, look, if you know the Switch 2 is not coming out till, say, late 2025, then maybe you're much more inclined to buy a Switch 1 this holiday season if you can find a discount. Or let's say they do talk about pricing and the Switch 2 is going to be $430. Maybe some parents are like, hey, I'd much rather pay $189 for a Switch Lite on a small discount and give that to my kiddo for Christmas instead of waiting for something that's going to cost over double the price. So I think there is workability, in which case Nintendo can still announce a Switch 2 in October and still move units this holiday season. But most importantly, they want to move software units. That's where they're going to be making the majority of their money. And with a new Mario Party, a new Zelda, and a new Mario and Luigi game, they should be moving plenty of units. And look, they can put some great holiday sales on very popular Nintendo Switch titles to make one final push to say, hey, let's give you Tears of the Kingdom on sale. Let's give you Mario Maker 2 and Odyssey in a bundle. They could do a lot of different things to incentivize software purchases as we move towards Nintendo Switch 2. Another thing they could do is discuss backwards compatibility plans and put like a quick blip in the teaser saying, hey, backwards compatibility is in, all your Switch 1 games will work, and then parents, purchasers, anybody will be like, oh, it's fine. I can buy Switch 1 games. I can even buy a Switch 1. And I know that everything I have is going to transition and transfer over perfectly. I mean, that really is a big incentive. If you know that your games are going to play, whether you get a system on launch day, whether you get a system a month in, 6 months in, Christmas 2025, you know that your current library is still going to be valuable. That can factor in. Now, I do think that at this point in time, Nintendo may instead opt to wait until early 2025 to reveal. Although, if they were to reveal in January, that to me takes a March or April launch out of the cards. I think Nintendo will want at least a 5-month lead up to their launch of the new system, meaning if we get a reveal in January, then we're not getting a launch, I think, until the summer, sometime in May or June, which would be an odd time to launch a system, but at the same time, Nintendo is so successful right now, I think they know that if they drop 3D Mario, Metroid Prime 4, and the Switch 2, they're going to sell like hotcakes. They've already established that they plan to support regular buyers by supplying tons of Switch 2 units, and building up that stockpile might be important for whenever they launch. If they can kind of eliminate the secondhand market, the scalper market, all the money goes to Nintendo, they can keep the price fair, and they can keep it plentiful so that anyone that wants one can end up getting one and then reload again for the holiday season. A lot of this, though, does depend on what's going on with Metroid Prime 4 and what happens with the September Nintendo Direct. That might actually be our greatest indicator of how Nintendo plans to handle this. Normally we get a February Direct, a June Direct, and a September Direct. Thus far we got sort of a February Direct, we got a partner showcase, and then we got an awesome mega epic June Direct. But what will Nintendo do in September? There's a couple ways they could go about this. One, they could have no September Direct. They could instead opt for an Indie World, a partner showcase, or nothing. Two, they could have a September Direct that emphasizes and focuses almost entirely on the upcoming holiday lineup. If they run this thing in early September, they can talk about Zelda Echoes of Wisdom in more detail, Super Mario Party Jamboree in more detail, they can talk about Mario and Luigi Brothership in more detail, maybe they can even talk about Emio, if whatever that game is revealed by that time, which I feel like it should be. They could stealth drop Metroid Prime 2 and 3 and give a more detailed look on Metroid Prime 4, and maybe, I guess, talk more about Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and they could even reveal a few other small remakes or other titles that are dropping in early 2025, but that Direct would really give us the timing. If they don't discuss any new games, well, we know a Switch 2 is almost imminent. if they do discuss a bunch of Q1 and Q2 2025 games, maybe the Switch 2 is a little further off. But there's another option where Nintendo could instead have a hardware presentation in September, or I suppose October, skipping the September normal time frame, and that would be a big time to reveal a bunch of things with Switch 2. I think the difference here between the Switch 1 and Switch 2 launch is with Switch 1, it was a whole new platform. You were establishing like, this is totally different, and they didn't really want to make any reference to Wii U. They wanted to know and let consumers know that, hey, the Switch is a new era for Nintendo. But with the Switch 2, it's not so much a new era as it is a follow-up generation. Therefore, Nintendo may opt to market this thing in a way that highlights differences rather than just exclusively highlighting what the Switch 2 can do. Talking about how the Joy-Con are improved, talking about how the graphics are improved, and in that case, maybe it behooves them to have a presentation where they are showing off Switch 1 stuff, so then they can, in contrast, also tease and show off Switch 2 stuff. Nintendo has not revealed hardware in directs at all lately. They've saved separate YouTube trailers or separate presentations or strange Mario peeking behind the curtains images for Twitter. They've had big live events, but they have not done direct plus hardware reveal. Could they mix it up this time? Or would they do something like a Metroid Prime 4 specific direct where you get the first look at Switch 2 gameplay? There's a lot of ways they can do this, and I do think highlighting how Metroid Prime 4 looks on Switch 1 and Switch 2 would be important, but I know that's going to be incredibly difficult to convey on YouTube. Like, the way the bitrate works, the way videos look, the way people get different connections with their internet, it's going to be hard to showcase, like, is Metroid Prime 4 actually looking better? And I feel like Nintendo is a very obvious company. They are a very, like, upfront, blatant company, and I feel like they would want to just make it obvious, just make it easy, and just make it clear. Therefore, comparisons to me don't really seem like Nintendo's cup of tea, and I believe that they would opt for something alongside just a straight Switch 2 blowout instead. That to me takes a September presentation out of the cards and again moves us to either an October tease with a January reveal or a January tease with a March reveal. I truly think those are the two paths that Nintendo can follow, and I think whether or not they have a September Direct, it will not include anything about Switch 2, and I actually believe that Nintendo will not go the comparison route because I think that's going to be difficult to showcase and highlight in a way that truly makes the Switch 2 stand out, and we know that Nintendo is big upon what they did to make this system better, what features are new, and I think like a hardware video and overview where they're like, the Joy-Con are now magnetic with 30% bigger buttons, a D-pad, and I don't know, they have a little Tamagotchi in there that you can control from your phone. Something like that, or like an AR camera, or whatever new features they have, highlighting those will be better and build more anticipation and excitement than just comparing visual fidelity. We know that Nintendo typically does not care as much about the tech performance of their systems, and even though this one is expected to be superior to the Switch, obviously, and superior to what Nintendo has typically put before us, I don't know that that will be a major marketing move because in terms of talking points, does that do much for the average Walmart, Target, Nintendo buyer? It does something for me and probably for you, but for the average consumer they're trying to target with these videos, like they know we're already going to buy it, they need to target the moms and dads that shop at Walmart. I don't think that makes much of a difference. So I think that Nintendo is going to go with the same sort of teaser and then into a full blowout reveal and then into a launch. I'm just at a toss-up whether it's October or January for the initial mention. I'd love to believe it's October, but I do wonder if Nintendo is going to allow for their holiday lineup to sit and simmer. They're going to allow for the US elections to pass over, and they're going to want to just start fresh in 2025 with a planned out marketing megaton movement of January, March, and May to announce and reveal and drop this system. It would be a strange time frame, but it would still work out. Nintendo has a couple early 2025 titles. They could even drop Metroid Prime 4 in March and then leverage it as another cross-gen game once Switch 2 comes out. There's many ways they can go. I would love to see Nintendo announce this thing in October and then showcase it in January, release in March, but right now I'm leaning like 52-48 to a January reveal. I really think Nintendo might just utilize the strong lineup of 2024 to carry them into the end of the year and ensure that this transition is as perfect as possible. Maybe it wouldn't make a difference, maybe it wouldn't impact holiday sales, but if Nintendo is thinking strictly from a business standpoint, I do think an early January launch makes the most sense, a March full reveal, and then a May drop You're way out of line from the holiday season. People have recuperated their money after buying all their gifts and presents, and you can push a major title in May that typically has been a month that has succeeded for other systems, and we've seen it do very well. And then you're right into Summer Game Fest, the summer holiday season, the June Direct, and you can go bananas with your holiday lineup, teasing, taunting, and absolutely eviscerating everyone else in the industry with their great lineup and releases. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, everybody. Is it going to be an October reveal? Are they going to tie it into the September Direct? Will it be January 2025 instead? Not what you want, because I know we all want it ASAP, but what do you really think Nintendo is going to do? I'd love to hear your theories and takes in the comments down below, now that you've heard mine. But until next time, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Until next time, SwitchForce out.